Hey there, and welcome back to my Minecraft beginner series, where, I over-explain everything so that you can get all of the basics going, get it figured out yourself, and we're getting pretty close to the point where I think, other than a few farms, let's turn this back on. It breaks if I leave my chunk areas, so I turn it off when I take off places. Um, wow, I'm graceful today. But anyway, we're getting to the point now in this series where I've kind of gone through a lot of the essentials. There's still a few other things, and let's leave, that are kind of going on. The sugarcane and bamboo farm is still in the state I left it last episode. Um, and you'll kind of see why here. All this extra off to the side, right? Um, and this huge extra hopper pipeline over here. Right now, there's an item filter sorting the sugarcane out, which is going over here, nice where I want it. Speaking of which, I've got some gunpowder to make some more rockets. But then I've got this item filter. It's up here where these dirt blocks are right now. And this temporarily coming over here and filling this up. Let's see. I've had some weird issues with other things coming in. But essentially, I've got this set up straight into my furnace array for now. I was encountering an issue where the sheer quantity and variety of items was causing my system to clog up right here. So I'm still having to think about it, trying to decide what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to expand out the sugarcane to that whole platform. And then once I do that, I'm going to build a bamboo farm on top of it that is the full size. Um, part of why I want it so big is keeping up with this furnace array. I've barely got anything cooking in there. You can see it's collecting really fast right now, but once all of that cuts down and the hopper minecarts and stuff start to fill out, or empty out rather, from their initial big surge right there, this doesn't keep pace with these 8 furnaces. So I can pretty easily double what's up there and build a furnace array. I don't know. It might be here. It might be somewhere else. In fact, I'm going to move that wall. I don't know why I made that so close. Anyway, that doesn't matter. That's a problem for later. So instead, I thought today what I'd do is I'd play around. As you can see, I'm using shaders, actually. Things just look, oh, so nice. Like our nice, clean, clear water, our vibrant sky. We got our sun up there, and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm kind of really enjoying the look of some of this with the shaders on. There's obviously lots of things to be doing, lots of things I've been putting off. But one of the things, which is what we're going to tackle today, is finally getting the house all sorted as far as how it's floating above the ground and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm actually going to dig down to, I think I'm actually just going to level it to right here. Then I'm going to put a foundation under it. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to terraform up to it, all the way around, get it all nice and nestled in, and we can get rid of a lot of, these little holes, these small distractions and stuff like that. But to do that, I went out and I collected a metric buttload of dirt, which will be more than enough for this. I think I came back with 6, 7 shulker boxes of dirt, maybe more. I don't remember. No, it'd be about 8 shulker boxes of dirt, which I've got mostly stored down below right now. And I've also got a whole bunch of cobbled deep slate and cobblestone. I'm going to cook up a little bit of the cobblestone into regular smooth stone, to give myself some texture and variety while I do this. But anyway, I think today it's a shaders episode. We're going to play the whole thing in shaders. I need to double check the mod I used to do my time lapses should be compatible with this shader. So I'm going to switch over to that. We're going to time lapse the whole thing. And bada bing, bada boom. So with that, let's crack to it. And as you can already see, I was not pre-set up for this. But right from the get-go, I'm just leveling things down like I said I would, so that I can build the foundation all the way from the ground up, which will make things a little bit easier as we get moving here. And there we go. It's not a really good super zoom in for this, but what I'm doing is I'm using a combination of the polished deep slate, the deep slate tiles, and the deep slate bricks. And I'm putting them around randomly here to give myself some good texture on the walls and such. Ugh. Just looking at it, the shaders makes this look so good already. Oh yes, no light into my area. I had to fight off the monsters a few times. Especially earlier on. These vines that I'm trimming up at the moment, I was using it as a vine farm real temporarily. There's not really a good way to fully automate it, so I was just letting them grow off the side of the house, going by trimming them occasionally. But here you can see I start placing the dirt. And if you think about a real house, you oftentimes have your basement, well, in places that have basements anyway, and then your dirt kind of butts up to it. You don't usually have a big brick, stone, concrete, whatever, but you can see I'm kind of giving an outline on the building itself, and then I'm building out from that. And at the moment, I'm just mass building so that I can get a general idea of the shape that I want to work with. there's a big old ravine over there that I'm starting to fill in and cap off. I've fallen into that thing so many times, it's a little ridiculous at this point. And we finally get rid of most of the starter storage from those first few episodes before I bothered to build anything. Here now I'm starting to add in a little texture using a combination of cobblestone slabs and stairs for the most part, just to get kind of an idea of the concept of the yard as a whole. And even just that little bit already takes it up another notch and another level. As I was reviewing this, I did not realize how many creepers I had close calls with. At this point, I actually remembered there's something that I wanted for this that I had not collected enough of, and that was actually the leaves. I'm using my netherite hoe, which has silk touch on it, and that lets me gather the leaf block itself instead of just breaking it or letting it despawn into more saplings. So I went through and I harvested a couple of trees real quick. Wasn't really sure which leaves I actually wanted, so I just did a little of everything. And that's dark oak that I just did. I kind of hate collecting the leaves like that. The sapling yield on them is low enough that it can get annoying and you might run out. So the second one I just let despawn to hopefully get a few more saplings. But now that I got that, you'll see here in just a moment when I go sleep, what I'm doing is I'm framing out my overall shape. So that's just a wireframe to kind of give me a generic idea of shape. And once I've got that, I can fill in the middle a little bit. And it makes it a lot easier to do some of your terraforming this way, to just have that wireframe construct to begin with. Now you'll see I go back and forth quite a bit. What I'm doing is I'm softening the edges so it's not as extreme. Like a lot of what you see at the bottom of the screen right now is purely natural Minecraft textures for the most part. But taking some time to really round things out, soften them up a little bit, goes a long, long way in making things a lot better. But I'll go around and I'll soften everything up, kind of stretch some things, pull some things back, so there's not as extreme of drop-offs. And really, in my opinion, this process is just to kind of try it. Your eyes should kind of be drawn to what's working and what's not. Now here I'm using my glow shrooms, and I'm just putting in a large bunch of random lighting around, which I'll then come back and somewhat hide and somewhat cover up. And your best friend, the leaf block. It'll cover a lot of things up so you don't just have so much obnoxious lighting block texture and things like that. Here I'm still figuring out kind of the pattern I want to go with, so there's a lot of back and forth that I'm kind of playing with. Throwing a little bit more cobblestone here and there, removing some of what I already put down a little bit, and working it around. And once I get my rhythm going, you can see I just take off and start going with it. Stretching some of it down the hill kind of makes it feel like it's a naturally more overgrown kind of thing. And then a little bit up against the building. Once again, a lot of this is just softening the edges so it doesn't seem as hard and sharp as you might normally have with just the blocks straight up. But you can kind of see now at night, it's not the completely obnoxious glow shrooms that are just there all the time. It really softens things up. And now I'm going to go back in with my cobblestone to finish off a lot of the texturing that I plan to do. Although I probably will be coming back later, adding in some mossy cobblestone here and there to tie things together a little bit better even yet. But for now, this is really good. The sheep farm is going to move somewhere else, or maybe I'll just build on top of it. I haven't really decided yet. So we'll leave that for the time being. Now, at this point, I actually made some acacia trapdoors, which I put on top of a couple of the shroom lights here and there. Since it's a transparent block, you can cover them up that way. Your light will actually still pass through, which makes things still mob safe. But again, it's another way to cover everything up so that it's not just wham in your face. You can see the way my place glows at night. Shaders gives you more of a dynamic lighting, kind of moody feel. Or some of them do anyway, which you can then kind of get an idea. But when it's in the regular vanilla texture pack and everything, you can see that it's more than adequately lit up places. Now at this point, since I'm doing the landscape and I figured I might as well come through retexture these flatter parts of my walls um, to kind of complete the whole little bit here. Makes it a lot less, just bland, boring. And here, my deck's been floating for so long, it's time to tie it into the ground. And I'm just going to do that with some spruce columns. Makes it look like it's intentional and structural there. And I'm currently putting oak fence posts up there for lanterns. You can hang a lantern basically on the bottom of any block. So it's a really good way to have it just hanging there. A little bit more light, a little more dynamic, lights up the deck, and everything like that. And you'll see large, dark regions around the house still. I've got a lot, and I mean a lot of terraforming to do in the greater area. So it's going to be a pretty good long time before everything up on my mountain here is complete. Alright, finally removing the last of the natural tree right around the house. And really, what landscape would be complete if it wasn't for a custom tree? I'm going to need to practice this a little bit more, but having thicker, more robust trees and things like that than Minecraft naturally spawns is always great. So I threw up a bit of a trunk, a couple of limbs, and then I'm scattering leaf blocks around them, kind of give them a little bit more floof and some texture, so that it feels like, a real tree instead of these weird dangly sticks. It makes more sense. And I went ahead and threw a light inside of the bushes up there, which wasn't necessary. Nothing can spawn up there, but I just wanted something a little extra. And now I'm going around, filling some stuff out, figuring some blocks, because I wanted to hang glowberries, which I've been holding on to since episode 1 and haven't done anything with. So we've got that going on. Now I'm adding some roots and stuff to make it look like the tree's actually growing down the side of the hill I made. And sort of pro tip, the wood blocks, if you put them into your inventory crafting table and put them in a little 2x2 cube, it will cover up the exposed bullseye color pattern. So you can have just a solid block no matter what direction you put it. And yeah, I may have ran into a mob farm I accidentally created down there. But that's okay. It actually kind of got me re-looking at it, and I ended up with a lot better route down the side right there after I ended up doing that. Well, that was a bit of a grind, wasn't it? I'm actually really pleased with the way this all turned out. And, I've been putting it off for a while, partially because I'm bad at this, at least in my opinion. Partially because I didn't have enough resources or the right tools and stuff for a long time. But, as we go around now, I've got just this beautiful little landscape around the house. I mean, doesn't that just look fantastic from right here? Now, granted, shaders is helping out a lot. Everything looks good with shaders. But, some of this stuff will obviously get cleaned up. This lawn term is probably moving somewhere else. I might go underground, actually, with my tree. Well, problem is height. I don't know. I'll figure that out at some point. Flying machine broke again. I've been flying around, like, checking out all the angles and stuff. And for the shaders, I've actually got my render distance relatively low. Actually, as you can see, I'm barely seeing the whole village at the moment, so that's pretty low for me. Some areas that I kind of started but left over here, um, and there's kind of some good reason for it, because if we come way over here, boop. So this whole section right here, and actually a good bit of this section over here too, I'm going to terraform as well. And that's largely in part to traversability. Like, if you look at this, like, climbing up and down this is a pain and a half. So I want to soften everything up, which might ultimately mean that my mountain actually comes out a little bit further here. Or I'm going to, and I haven't decided on this yet, I might crisscross, so like, or snakeback, I guess maybe is what they call it, path through here that will allow me to, dark spooky, no, you're not that bad, go back and forth. But otherwise, I mean, every time I want to go up here, I have to find just the right path, assuming I don't have my elytra, to get up here. But, all said and done, I'm really super happy with this. I did add myself a basement, as you may have seen. And I kind of always knew I would. Now, I haven't really worked on it too hard yet, but this is where I was planning to put my workshop occasionally. But now that I've got all this down here, I kind of just barely started playing around with some blocks. And think I think the workshop's going down here. Probably. Well, we'll see when I get that far. You guys know how it is. But otherwise, I had a lot of fun doing this. Like I said, I'm really enjoying the shaders. Are you enjoying it too, Mr. Villager Trader? Nicest place in town? Oh, it's too bad. Oh, no, it's not too bad. Let's just throw a bunch of junk in here for a moment. I don't know how much gunpowder you will sell me, but I will take it all, sir. Pleasure doing business. You don't sell anything else that I care about, do you? No, you don't. The rest of that's easy stuff. I've actually been hunting creepers at night. But yeah, so this place is just excellent. It's fantastic. I love it. And it's really coming together. And so I'm going to be terraforming at some point the whole side of the mountain. I'm going to terraform this whole field right here, all the way up to that. So this whole thing's going to get smoothed out, leveled, made a lot better. Everything around the factory and you can actually see down here. That's going to be a pretty big task because a lot of this is getting right over to the edge of this open ravine that I'm dealing with. But I'm going to pretty much close up everything down here so it's not exposed for this area. So basically everything out to here is going to get terraformed. I'm going to soften that up, and it's going to become a more gradual slope out this way. Let's see. This is a project for the semi-near future. You remember our bees. What's going on? Where did my door go? Well, okay. I have no idea what happened to my door. Maybe it was a zombie? I don't know. That would explain why I've had bees flying around the last couple days. I haven't even come to investigate. Is the one down on the ground gone too? No. I'm so confused. I lost the door. I'm the only person that plays something. Whatever. But this is going to be a mammoth combination build and terraforming project. What I'm going to do, kind of like the custom tree I put over there, but much bigger. I'm going to put a giant tree over here and a beehive on it. And that beehive is going to become my honey and honeycomb farm for all kinds of things. Let's see. This. I don't know if you caught it, but I threw some glowberries on here. And that's what these little vines are. I've got a little bit of the regular vines coming down. I might have to add a couple of vines. I think I lost a couple of them when that creeper got me there towards the end. That whole thing, only one creeper, and it happened to be in an underground area where I created the problem. Of course. Let's see, do I have shears here? Yes, I do, and I got some bones. Cool. Yes, bones become bone meal. But just another mild lighting trick. I can come over now and I can bone meal certain bits of this. And I should be able to, I think if I right clip like that, I should be able to get some, okay, you're not going to grow any deeper, but some variety, and it should kind of stay there. And then another thing I was going to show you, do I have it here? No. Okay, so with vines, once they're at the length that you want them, you can put a piece of string under them and they won't grow anymore. So you don't have to come back and maintain things like this all the time. But anyway, so that was terraforming in a nutshell. There's definitely people out there who are a lot better than me at it, but I'm pretty passable. I know a thing or two. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, and I do look forward to seeing you tomorrow again in my next video. Bye now.